the number of fentanyl deaths has just exploded over the past several years. And what happens is with fentanyl, and it's even more dangerous than opiates, if you can believe that, because when you buy fentanyl on the street, when you buy opiates, you buy anything on the street, sometimes it is laced with fentanyl. Way too many times it is laced with fentanyl. And so what can be done about it? Well, a good friend of the show's, Todd Spitzer, who is the Orange County DA, is doing something that I think DAs all over the country are going to follow suit with. Todd, thanks very much for joining us, as always.
Well, good morning, Bill. Thank you.
Yeah, we call Todd in the morning when something comes up. And you're always gracious enough to come on and make the time. All right, so let's talk about this, what you're going to do to fentanyl dealers, because I guess it's kind of a unique way of dealing with the law, both in terms of piggybacking on another concept that's been used and dealing with a previous case that you're following. So I'm going to just let you go for it.
Well, I mean, I think the public is very used to DUI, right? When somebody gets convicted of driving under the influence of drugs or alcohol, Bill, when they plead guilty or found guilty and they're sentenced, they're told by a judge, hey, if you do this in the future and you kill somebody, you could be charged with murder. And what we're doing is we're putting the mens rea, right? We're putting the consciousness of guilt into the record so that if they go out and they do it again, God forbid, at least we can offer that evidence to the jury, and the jury will know that they already were warned, and it allows us to prove that part of the case beyond a reasonable doubt. So what I'm doing is Mike Hester, the DA of Riverside, was very aggressive, and he started this about a year ago. He's got 7 pending murder cases against drug dealers for selling fentanyl that resulted in the death of an individual. Yeah, I mean, I just want the people driving to work and listening to you this morning, Bill, to think of a penny and a Lincoln penny, and just think of that, how small that is. Lincoln's nose is the amount of fentanyl. If I just sprinkled on the amount of fentanyl, and covered Lincoln's nose on a penny, that is the amount that's deadly. Okay, it's minuscule, it's ridiculous, and statewide deaths have gone up 1,500%. In Orange County, over 1,000%. I've got 450 overdose cases in the coroner's office right now pending toxicology. So I think we're all on the same page. It is a epidemic, and California understands pandemics, but it doesn't understand epidemics, and it's affecting all communities: white, black, people of color, Hispanic.
It's completely crazy because we look at these drug busts. When cocaine and heroin is confiscated, you look at these kilo, for example, packages, and okay, it's $8 billion street value, whatever, but you can see the same amount of fentanyl being confiscated, and that's basically a weapon of mass destruction. That can kill tens of thousands of people, just that fentanyl there. Quick question about intent and knowledge. Obviously, someone who is driving knows that drunk driving equals the danger. How about the drug dealer who simply sells a pill, fake opiates, who has no idea fentanyl is in there? Does that matter?
Well, I mean, listen, this is not going to be easy, and it's going to all be case-specific depending on the evidence, but that's why we're doing the admonishment on the record in open court with a court reporter, or the police are going to give this. I have every police agency, sheriff, and police chief has now agreed in the entire county of Orange, 3.3 million people, that when they arrest somebody for selling drugs, not just fentanyl, selling drugs, because, as you said, we now know that almost all drugs, there's about a 50-50 chance they have fentanyl. So we're giving them that admonishment. If they have body-worn camera, we're going to record it, and then we can offer that into evidence to take away any doubt that the person who's selling drugs can say, I had no idea, right? Which requires them, quite frankly, to get on the stand and say that, and then they're subject to cross-examination. I just want to tell you quickly, Bill, because I know you've been very open about, your past and using
cocaine
drugs and all that. Okay, but let me tell you something. Let's say you bought cocaine from your connection, right? You were buying that cocaine and you understood what it did to you, and you did that with knowledge and everything else. Bill, people are buying cocaine, OxyContin. They're buying drugs. We know kids and people are buying drugs, but they are buying it with the understanding of what it does to them when it's still normal, if you will.
Yeah, and they don't think there's fentanyl in the drugs that could kill them. Is what you're
right,
saying.
And that's the point, Bill. What I want you to know, and what I want the listeners to know, and how we're re-educating law enforcement. These are not overdoses. These are not people who intentionally are overdosing. They're being poisoned. And so I can charge somebody, if I can prove poisoning, intentional poisoning, I can charge first-degree murder.
Wow.
If I can show that they are recklessly doing, or they have what we call depraved heart, right? They're doing it knowing fentanyl's in there. They don't care because they're a drug dealer who wants to make money. I can charge second-degree murder. We're talking about people going to prison now, 15 to life, 17 to life, before they're eligible for parole. If we start locking up these drug dealers, we will make a huge dent on what's happening on our streets. Now, is it the only solution, Bill? No. We have to do education.
Right.
We have to do outreach. Prosecution's not the only way to go about it. But I'm telling you, I am not going to let drug dealers get away with murder. I'm not.
Yeah, and you're the guy. I mean, you're the DA, and who else is going to do it? One quick question before we bail out of here. Now that virtually everybody knows fentanyl's been around long enough and knows that it's involved in Oxycontin, the fake drugs, if you will, has the use of these, the opiates have gone down now that people know fentanyl might be in there?
Bill, you just had an overdose in Venice. I mean, it got a lot of attention. Yeah. Some comedians. We had 3 people in Newport Beach about 3 weeks ago who died. One went to the hospital. Do you think people – look, this is like Russian roulette, right? You think when you pull the trigger, that chamber does not contain a bullet. Everybody thinks it can't happen to them. The fact of the matter is every chamber in the gun is now loaded.
Crazy. All right, Todd, thank you, sir. Always a pleasure.
My friend. Thanks,
Todd Spitzer.